Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Get into the chat and say hello. Hello. All right, you should have the PDFs. Today we're going to do an inverted paradiddle, or a variation of the paradiddle. The last lesson we did was the paradiddle itself between the hi-hat and the snare. So, and we were using the Chaffee, that's from this Gary Chaffee's pattern series, time functions. I think that's page 11, is foot patterns against the ostinato. The one where we left off last lesson was just doing the regular paradiddle. So we're taking the paradiddle on top, hi-hat and snare drum. We're putting a backbeat on the count of 2. And we added the foot patterns. And he sort of has the grid. So on and so forth. So can we please get into the chat? All right, so today we're going to take the inverted, or a variation, of the paradiddle itself. It's actually line 6 of the stick control book, using it on top. Okay, so the first pattern, the bass drum is going to be on the counts of 1 and 3 against that ostinato. 1. I'm going to do it very, very slow and gradually pick up the tempo somewhat. Hello, Ed. How are you? Did you get the PDFs for today? That's paradiddle inversion number 400 with the Chaffee foot patterns. Okay? The first one, like I just did, I'm going to do it slow again. I'm going to play the bass drum on the counts of 1 and 3 against the pattern. The pattern being 1, E, and pop, and 3, E, and 4, E, and that was wrong. Okay. 1. Okay, that's the first one. Now, we're going to permutate the bass drum. The first one, the bass drum was on the counts of 1 and 3. Now we're going to nail the bass drum on the count of the E of 1 and the E of 3. Nice and easy. 1, E. Now notice there's a ghost note. 1, E, and we're not, you have to be careful here because a lot of people tend to have that bass drum dictate the sound of their stick. Like 1, E. So you need to lighten up on the ghost note. 1, E, and 1, E, and 2, E, and 3, E. I'm sorry, 3, E, and 4, E, and so that takes care of the 1 and the E of 1 and the 1 and 3 and the E of 1 and the E of 3. Now we're going to now move it over 1, and we're going to go to the and of 1 and the and of 3. So we have 1, E, and 2. Go slow. 3, E, and 4, E, and 1, E, and 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, E, and Got that? Any questions on that so far? All right, so now we did the 1 and 3, the E of 1, the E of 3, the and of 1, and the and of 3. And we're going to go to the duh now of 1 and the duh of 3. Nice and easy. 1, E, and duh. 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, E, and 1, E, and 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, E, and Okay, so now that's the 1 and 3, the E of 1, the E of 3, and of 1, and of 3, the duh of 1, and the duh of 3. Now, before we go any further, what I would recommend is playing number 1 a few times, number 2 a few times, 3 and 4, and back to 1. Now, you could play them one time, 3 times, 10 times, depending on how you feel. So let me just hang out with that for a little bit, and I'll do them slow. 1. Sorry, this computer is driving me bananas. Ah. All these pop-ups, mercy. Let me do that again. Do the first 4 over and over again, as many times as you want. 1, E, and 2. 1, E, and 2, E, and 3. 'Microphone. All right, the duh. Back. Number 1. Now, once you do all 4, you feel good with that. Before you go on to number 5, what I would recommend is playing straight 16th notes with the bass drum for 2 or 3 minutes against the pattern. Simple. Now, I'm not going to do that for 10 minutes or whatever, but it's highly recommended that, you did 1, 2, 3, 4, more or less that's the grid, and then you're doing straight 16ths to open up your foot a little bit. Then I would proceed to number 5. Now, this is just my approach and how I practice. If it works for you, that's great. If it don't work for you, do what you need to do. So we're going to go to number 5, and we'll run down a couple more. Hold on. Come on. There you go. Now on number 5, the bass drum is on 1E and 3E. Now I'm going to play the top a few times. Now the bass drum. Over and over again. Oh, Rod, how are you? Is this the first time you're here, Mr. Rod? And do you have the PDF? I was on number 5. I just went through 1 through 4 and then an additional warm-up exercise and continued on 5. Now, Rod, do you have the PDFs? And you say, oh, good down here. Are you in Australia or something? Okay, if you want the PDFs and if you don't have them, email me. Okay, I don't know where you are, Rod, but there's my email. If you want the PDFs after the lesson, email me. I'll send you the PDFs. And I'm doing another lesson just like this tonight at 7:30 Eastern Time. Bondi Beach. I don't know where Bondi Beach is. Which state or what country or where's that at? I do apologize. But 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be doing the same lesson again. Now, that was number 5. You understand it, Ed, so far? Number 5. Okay, so now, that takes care of the first 5. Number 6, Sydney, Australia. They're down under. Okay, good. It's actually Tuesday there. What time is it there right now, Rod? We're going to number 6. Now, the bass drum is going to be on the counts of 1 and 3 and. Good for you, Ed. All right. It's not very difficult. They're just a different approach and a different way of developing some funk. 4:15 in the morning. Yike. What would 7:30? If it's 4:15, that would be 6 hours. That'd be 10 in the morning, 11 in the morning. If you're able to come at 7:30 p.m. to the same broadcast here, YouTube, I'm doing the same lesson, and this time you'll have the PDFs. Now, Ed, the lesson tonight is going to be here, okay? All right, so now, we're on number 7. Same pattern on top. The bass drum is on the 1 and the da of 1, 3 and the da of 3. Nice and easy, nice and slow. 1, E, and 2, E, and I'm sorry, 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, E, and 1, E, and 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, E, and 1. Okay, well, I'll be back Wednesday, Ed, at probably the same station here at 1 p.m. if you can't make 7:30. What I'm going to do is give you the first combination using this particular pattern for Wednesday. Okay, so that takes care of number 7. Okay? And Rod, you can make the 7:30, correct? All right, so now we're on number 8. Nice and easy. Number 8. 1, E, and 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, E, and 1, 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, E, and again, 1, E, and 2, E, and 3, 4, E, and all right. Any questions so far, gentlemen? Any questions? All right, well, you know, these are endless possibilities here. I'm just taking a pattern from the stick control book and working it as an ostinato. But we could do combinations, or you could make it sound funky. Mixtures. I just changed the ostinato pattern. But, you know, it's nice to have these written out and to do them slow. The object here is you're not playing a particular kind of tune. You're learning how to develop control between the bass drum, the snare drum, and your hi-hat. That's a simple pattern. I love the Shafee book and the stick control book. Let me just, for Rod's benefit, I'm taking the pattern. That pattern there we're using today, and playing 16ths with the bass drum. Now, if you could do that pattern over and over and over again for about 3 minutes, your foot's smoking. You're going to develop some great control with the bass drum and endurance. We agree with that one? You know what I would like, if possible, you know, I have all you guys frequently coming to the lesson most of the time. And it's nice to have some input from you as to, you know, what would you like to, where would you like to go, what would you like to learn, you know, any suggestions to make my site better or my lessons a lot better. I would appreciate that. The groove, it's not a groove. Okay, it's a pattern, and that distinction really gets me cuckoo. Not, I am cuckoo anyway. I'm talking about a groove. A groove is when you're interacting with other musicians and you're on the same zone, man. Then you're having a conversation. These are patterns that develop into a groove, or you can use while you're grooving with the band. So when you say groove, you know, it's understandable because the language is not universal. Now, I'm using straight 16ths to develop endurance. 2 E and 3. Now I'm playing the pattern that we're doing today. So on and so forth. Now we're not going to do them open-handed, just to the one side right now. Okay? There's no questions to this point. All right, we're taking number 10. The bass drum is going to be on the and of 1, the and of 3. So we have 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E. Again, 1 E and 2 E and sorry, 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 3 E and 4 E. Okay? Now you could also, I didn't write it out, but we're going to continue on this tonight. You can also use the stick control book as additional foot patterns. Okay, when I say using them as additional foot patterns, you're referencing from page 5, and you're eliminating, and you're thinking of the first line instead of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You're thinking of the first line as 1 E and 2 E and 4 E and. So that's giving you the sequence of right, left, right, left, right, left. So what I do is I think of that page that way, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. I eliminate all the lefts on the first line. That's going to give me 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. That becomes the bass drum part. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Get it? 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Okay, the next line would be, instead of me thinking of the line as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, I'm thinking of the line as 1 E and 2, 3 E and 4 E and. Hold on. So now the bass drum now is going to be on the E and the duh. 1 E and 2 E and. Sorry, let me do that again. This computer's distracting me. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2. So you have all of them. The third one is 1 E and 3 E. 1 E, 2 E, 3 E. Do it again. 1, I got 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E. Line 5, 4 rather. It's 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. Number 6, or 5 rather. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Get that? Understand that? I'll have that written out for Wednesday as well. Plus the combinations and what you call the and the stick control book that we just did. I'll have all those patterns written out. Now, the lesson is almost over. Is there any questions on anything that we've done so far? Or is there anything that you don't understand or you kind of understand and you want me to revisit and re-explain it? So just speak up now and we'll hang out with it. Any questions on anything or anything you want to revisit from the past? And Rod, is this your first time here? You just found your stick control book. You should have it in your back pocket. Well, I'm doing lessons every Monday and Wednesday for the remainder of the month. And then come November, I'm going to be doing only 1 o'clock lessons here. And my 7:30 lessons are going to be on my site. Okay, so, Ed, is there anything that you want to go over? Anything that we've done in the past that you would like to go over? And Rod, is there anything that you want to discuss? Because, you know, the lesson is kind of over right now, and I'm not going to go through all 22 of these. Maybe tonight I will give you a longer lesson. Tonight at 7:30 Eastern Time, that's my time. That is in another six hours. So that should be about, 10 o'clock? And Ed, your books should be, they're on their way. For some reason, I don't know why you haven't gotten them yet. Okay? Now, tonight I'm still on this site here for the rest of the month. The rest of the month is going to be 1 p.m. and 7:30 p.m., Monday and Wednesday, and it's all free. However, when you go to my site, there is a membership cost. But now, Rod, remember, if you'd like to have the PDFs, okay, email me and I'll send you the PDFs, and I'll put you on my mailing list so you get this week's agenda, the week's agenda, and all the PDFs for the lesson. Okay, any questions to this point? Ed, suggest something to me. You know, give me some, suggest something that you want to go over, or how to better my lessons, or if I do too much talking as opposed to playing, or I skip around too much, or talk to me. I would appreciate your input because I have a high respect for you. Double paradiddle grooves. Okay. You want me to hang out with them? All right. Well, there's, if you have the Charlie Wilcoxon book, Rudimental Swing, he gives a lot of variations of double paradiddle with the accents moved around in the sticking pattern. I like to do the double paradiddles in groupings of 6. Okay, right. Probably. All right, anyway, the double paradiddle, we're going to start with a simple double paradiddle. Now, I can take that over the line, and I can play it in 4 as it's 16ths. 1, 2, and 2, and I could go like that, or I'll come up with something next week. As a matter of fact, I'll prepare a double paradiddle lesson. All right, and it's actually, you call it a double paradiddle, but it's a sticky pattern from page 5. Okay, so we'll put something together, the double paradiddle. When you say, and it gets funky, the double paradiddle does get funky because you can move it around. 1 and 2 and 3. I'm sorry. 1 and 2 and 3. I like to take it in triplets. All right, double paradiddle it is. Anything for you, Rod? So we'll do some rudiments, and we'll put them on the drum set. Anything from you, Rod? Anything from you, Ed? If not, it's time to close it up. And Ed, we're not going to see you tonight. We'll see you Wednesday rather. And Rod, hopefully we'll see you tonight. Any questions? All right, we'll do that. We're talking not an ostinato pattern. We're talking developmental patterns. The bell of the cymbal. That's the stick control book. If I use line 1 of the stick control book, that's right, left, right, left. And I'm thinking of it in eighth notes. I'm going 1 E and the 2 E and the 3. Right, left, 1. That's actually in the pattern series, the time functions. There's so many variables. All right, email me, Rod. I'll send you the PDFs. Okay, gentlemen. I need to close this down and go to work. You gentlemen have a good rest of the day, and I'll see you, Rod, tonight, and I'll see you, Ed, Wednesday, 1 p.m. Okay? Email me, Rod. Have a good day, gentlemen.